First of all, congratulations. The idea of taxes is a pretty tough one to comprehend, period. We've gone back and forth discussing paychecks, taxes, and how to file in April. Today, we're going to break down a little bit of the actual paycheck, the reasons for taking a specific job, and the benefits. Because if you're going to get paid and you're going to pay taxes on the money you make, you might as well be happy doing the work. We've discussed these terms numerous times. Don't forget to make sure they're in your notes somewhere and may appear again in a Quizlet. But here's what you need to understand about your paycheck. Gross pay is the total amount you earn before any deductions are subtracted. It's the original amount that your boss agrees to pay you. Then there are amounts subtracted from your gross pay. We'll talk a little bit more about what they are, but for now we're going to call them deductions, and you've definitely heard this word before. When all deductions are done coming out of your account, and these deductions are taken out before you get your check, the amount that's left, your actual check, is called your net pay. Gross pay with overtime is still taxed or has deductions taken out. We've talked about, but now to define the word overtime, it's the time worked beyond the regular hours. So if you're a full-time employee and you worked over 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week is standard. Anything over that 40 is considered overtime. You could make 1.5 times your regular rate. Some places will even pay double. So when you are looking at the equation here, your regular weekly hourly pay plus overtime equals your total gross pay. The chart below gives a little explanation of what would happen in your paycheck. So if you are getting paid for 40 hours, remember that's standard, so that's the regular pay, and you get $8 per hour that you work, $8 times 40 hours is $320. With overtime pay, this person makes time and a half. So he or she makes the $8 plus half of that, meaning $12 in total. If this person worked 4 extra hours a week, they would make $12 for each of those extra hours. 12 times 4 gives you 48. So in total, this person worked 40 hours and grossed $368. When you review salary, which we've talked about many times, it's an annual amount divided into equal parts. You could have those equal parts broken up into 12, which is monthly, 12 months in a year. You could have them broken into 24, which means you get paid twice a month. Every 2 weeks would be 26 because there are 52 weeks in a year. And then finally, if you got paid weekly, that would be times 52. Over here on the right-hand column, it shows you what that would look like. So if you were paid monthly and your annual salary is $24,000, you would get $2,000 a month. If you were paid twice a month, it would be divided by 24 like we said, so that would make it $1,000 every paycheck twice a month. If you were breaking it up into 26 paychecks every 2 weeks, it would be $923.89 per paycheck. And then finally, weekly paychecks, if you were getting paid 52 times, each week you would take home $461.54. And actually, that's not even what you would take home. That's your gross pay before deductions. Again, the deductions are what's taken out of your gross pay. You don't have to write the word again. It's bolded to let you know that this is what we're focusing on in this slide. Some deductions that are required, which is why it's in red, we've talked about as well. Social Security, federal income tax. We've also discussed Medicare and state taxes. in New Jersey, which are required, but other deductions can be optional. I have my retirement taken out of my paycheck. So they deduct a certain amount each month and put it in an account for me so that when I retire, that money is there for me to use. When all deductions are taken out, the amount that's left is called your net pay. And we call that take-home pay. It's the actual amount of money that you can spend as you wish. By as you wish, what I mean is that's the money left over for you to pay your bills, and hopefully there'll be some left over for fun. There are different ways for you to ensure that your paycheck makes you happy, meaning it's what you really want. And there are many ways that companies will try to lure you into work for them so that the money that you're making is through their company. Some of the benefits and incentives that companies might offer to get you to work for them include profit sharing and incentive pay. So profit sharing is a type of incentive pay. It's a plan that allows companies to get a portion of the company's profit at the end of the year. Meaning, if the company makes a lot of money that year, they are willing to share with their employees, and it might come in, say, a check, like a bonus check at the end of a season or at the end of the year, and that helps the employers feel really motivated. They want to do better because they know if they do better, the company does better, and if the company does better, they make incentive pay or extra money. So profit sharing is a motivator. It's called incentive pay. Incentive pay is the money offered to encourage employees to work for a higher level of performance. It encourages them to work hard. Please make sure that both of these definitions are in your notes, but just know that profit sharing is one type of incentive pay. Other types of incentives that companies might offer are included on this slide. You don't have to write any of these down in your notes, but you want to be aware of them. Most of them are common sense. A lot of businesses provide full-time employees with paid vacation time, meaning that while you're on vacation, you're still going to get your usual paycheck. Some companies will say you only get a week. Some companies say you get 2 weeks. It varies depending on where you're working or how long you've been there. But this is a benefit. This is an extra, and it's a motivator, because if I know if I work there for 10 years, I get 10 days of vacation time, I'm more and more motivated to stay with that company. Paid holidays, and here's a list of the holidays that they typically include, are days that the employees may not have to come to work, but they may still get paid. So other holidays that are extra are also listed. You might be required to work on that holiday and make a lot more money, or you might not have to work at all and get paid either way. Teachers get paid holidays. I still get my regular salary check even though I'm not here for Thanksgiving. This again is a benefit. Not all companies offer it, and it's an incentive for you to stay with that company. Down here, businesses also provide a number of days for people to take as sick. It's common to get between 3 and 10 days, and it won't deduct from your pay. But again, not everyone does it. It motivates you to stay with that company if they offer it. And lastly, if you do decide to have children, there are many places that have on-site child care. So if you are thinking about becoming a teacher at South Brunswick High School, you could bring your kids to the Kids class. That is on-site child care. They are watched by some students, but also by adults for a certain portion of the day. And the expense could be part of the employee's benefit package, meaning they don't have to pay for it. Again, not all companies offer it. It's a benefit, it's an extra, and it's definitely a motivator for you to stay with that company. There are a lot of extra services that a company could offer to improve their employees' moods and working conditions. If you're miserable at your job, if you don't like working there, you're probably not going to work as hard, or you might call out sick a lot to avoid having to be at this place. If you're in a good mood, if you like the working conditions, then you might choose to stay, and you might even work harder while you're there. Some employee extras or services include employee discounts, I get a discount at Ulta for working there, which is why I stayed on during the school year and didn't just work in the summer, because I knew I could still buy stuff and get some discounts. Some places have social or recreational programs, like some companies have a team dodgeball team, or South Brunswick does do a faculty party around Valentine's Day. It helps the employees get to know each other, and it makes for a happier work environment. If you're working in New York, free parking is a great benefit, and some companies do offer that. Some companies will pay for you to take college classes. Starbucks is one of those companies that helps pay for your college tuition. Some people stay at Starbucks and work the entire time they're in college because they're making money to pay for college and because Starbucks is paying as well. There are wellness programs that some companies offer that allow you to seek counselors, or that you can go to the gym for free and to get counseling on site, another benefit. There are some companies that will allow an employee to take what's called temporary leave, and it's without pay, but your job is saved for you. You don't get fired. There are some reasons that they might say no. So although having children tends to be a reason that leave is approved, sometimes people who have had children try to stay out longer, and at that point they might be denied. So there's an agreed upon amount of time you can take. The advantage is your job's there when you get back, but the disadvantage is you do not get paid. Some employers allow you to take what's called personal days so that you can attend important things without calling in sick, like a wedding, or if you want to go on a quick professional development day, you could take a personal day. Some companies offer insurance, and I know this sounds crazy because we all just assume as soon as we get a big kid job, we're going to get insurance, but not all companies have insurance. South Brunswick High School is one of those places where you can work and get what's called group insurance. You don't have to write group insurance down. Please write the definition of personal days, but group insurance is one we're going to cover later when we get into our insurance chapter. Most of the insurance plans that companies offer require the workers to pay for part of their coverage. And if you have kids and your kids are going to be covered, you would have to pay for a portion of that as well. You could get health care, life insurance, dental coverage, or vision coverage through an employee group insurance plan. And again, not all companies have them, so it's a good thing when they do. And lastly, travel expenses. If you have to go on trips for the place where you work, so maybe you're a person that sells computers and you have to travel to different bigger companies to sell your computers, your company might pay for a car for you to do the traveling, or give you what's called a mileage allowance, which is money for your gas, or they might cover the hotels, the food, and other travel expenses. You might have to show them the receipts to make sure that you weren't traveling with a bunch of different people. It was actually you and you were doing your job, but they might choose to cover you because you are working for them while you do the traveling. Bonuses and stock options are things we'll discuss in a later chapter, but these are also types of incentive pays. We kind of talked about bonuses already. If you work hard for the company, they'll pay you extra. Stock options means that they'll give you a certain amount of stock for the company. Like if you work for Amazon, they will give you Amazon stock. Pensions and savings are two other things that a company could offer to make an employer happy. Pension plans are retirement plans. And when I retire, I will receive a monthly check from South Brunswick High School because I've paid into my pension plan. But I had to work here 10 years or more in order to get that full pension retirement check. It is called vested. Please write this word in your notes. Vested is the certain amount of time an employee has to work to get a full retirement account. At South Brunswick High School or any state job, it's 10 years. Other places, it might just be 5. That's the end of the slides. Make sure you go back and you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and these are repeats. 9 words either in your notes from today's or previous ed puzzles.